What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another Tekken 8 training arc video, and today I'm finally getting a month worth of electric wind hook fist in. So I want to give you guys an update on how that has been going. But what even encouraged me a bit more to do this video comes from a comment by @30. Bro, I cannot say the rest of your name, so I'll just keep it as @30. But essentially, he's practicing the electric wind hook fist and he's doing it on keyboard, but he can't seem to get it. So I'll actually show you guys how I practice it on keyboard, as well as a little demonstration. I have a potato PC, so you're gonna have to bear with some of that kind of hand cam footage when it comes to that part. But obviously we could see the PS5 footage of Tekken 7, and I'm gonna show you how I did it on the controller. So currently right about now we are in the tutorial. So currently we're in the practice room, and first things first, I would not consider myself having mastered the perfect electric wind guard fist, but I'm much more proficient now than I was when I initially would have started a month ago. So first things first, the first way that people fault on the electric wind hook fist is because we ask how do we electric wind hook fist rather than asking why do we electric wind hook fist. And the why comes from the fact that it's Jin's one of his main pressure tool, +5 on block. It's just an amazing keep out tool at time, and then you apply pressure. Obviously it moves Jin slightly forward, so it can be used at a distance, and it gets you right in front of your opponent's face. It starts combos, so immediately you don't have a case where you're wondering how to start a combo. Right, so it puts your opponent into a screw state, and then you could follow up with some combos on that. But what it most importantly does is, I think it at lower ranks, it demands a level of respect when people see you could put out the electric wind hook fist with not much pressure. But when I was initially starting to practice it, I actually mapped my 2-punch buttons to L1. So I was kind of doing like this kind of pinch of it. But that was not sustainable because sometimes I would just randomly grab. But it's also to the case where like I just wanted to understand the timing. So it was much better on this side. Let me show you on the other side. I wanted to understand the timing, so I did this. I was just practicing at what point do you really need to press these buttons. See, I could barely do it now, but you kind of get the gist that when you do it here, this is just an introduction into getting better at it. Eventually you move past this stage, and within the why we do this, it also has to correlate to the fact that we're trying to get better at the wave dash, because the wave dash and this move directly correlate. So it's your main pressure tool, and it's not something that you want to miss out. Because if you look at what the electric wind guard fist does in comparison to the electric wind hook fist, the electric wind guard fist pushes back characters a bit further, so it's a better keep out tool. And obviously it's their bread and butter. You've got to stop most of their combos with it, and it's much more detrimental to a classical Mishima if they don't have that versus Jin, who has a plethora of other tools as well, just as they do. But at the end of the day, his electric wind hook fist is still a tool that you must get down. So back now you could see how the difference between those two moves and why we need that for Jin. But in the execution of it all, so we already spoke on the fact that you need to improve your wave dash, because this is part of the command, right? So you just go into practice mode and you just do it slow at start, and then eventually you could ramp it up, and then you get a little bit crazier with it. But when you look at the input for the electric wind hook fist, that's where the first misconception comes from. Because anybody who may have played fighting games, or just see the fact that this is a line of instruction, would just think, oh, all I have to do is just input and then press, right? Nah, you'd get the electric wind hook fist, which is true, yes. At the end of the day, we're still getting an electric wind hook fist, but what we're looking for is the perfect electric wind hook fist. So essentially I remapped that controls, that line of instruction in my mind, and I actually put 2 at the top of it, so but right meshed in between. So essentially there's a point, if you hold down on your D-pad like this, you see Jin would walk forward. So at this moment right here, when you feel yourself pressing right there, you should go forward and press 2. That's the essential part of it. So when you're here, these two things should work together. So let me show you what I mean by that. So 1, I'll get as close as I can and we execute. And what I've also noticed from Smash, I learned this from Smash, I don't press the button, I slide, because that's something that helps you in the electric wind guard fist execution of Kazuya on Smash. So that was just a nice little tidbit that actually went a little bit further with me beyond the game. So let me show you. So you see one time there, it looks quick, but it's essentially as soon as I reach here, I'm kind of buffering the press here. So I'm like sliding my finger across. So by the time this connects, it would have been a case where I've already pressed the button. So it's like that, you're sliding it. So when we do it like that, it's just like a nice little slide off. But you really want to come here, like at that moment, you press it and it just comes like that, you know? It just slides off and then you could keep that pressure going. And the special thing about the electric wind hook fist, it's a lot of training in the sense that it's muscle memory that you're literally trying to build. It's not necessarily a case where you may not need to play Tekken for like a good while, but get your reps in. Make sure to get your reps in of the electric wind hook fist. So let me show you on this side. On this side, I'm much better at wave dashing, and I think it's because of how the control is set up. But once again, same principle. We're gonna slide as soon as we reach there. Okay, I'm messing it up a bit, but remember, slide as soon as we reach here. Okay. See? You slide. Kind of like you. Right. That's what you have to do. You're basically kind of like see it as like a zigzag into the punch, because it's literally a hook, right? Kind of like an uppercut going for that chin right there. But Jin, of course, Devil Jin, of course, is blocking it. But I'm not as proficient on this side, I would say. Hold on, let me. So at this point, when you're messing up, when you feel like you're messing up, just go back, practice to wave dash a little, and then get that down. Once you're comfortable again, you back up and you try it again. You see, immediately, because in that mind, I was putting too much pressure on myself to think about the wave dash when I needed to get it a bit more like it's almost like an automatic thing, and then you slide with it. And then that is how I started getting better at the electric wind hook fist. But of course, this is a two-part video in one video. So I'm gonna switch over now to show you how to execute that using the same principles on keyboard. So I want to preface this part of the video by saying the best controller for Tekken is the one that you're going to practice with. There is no controller that will make you magically better than anyone. So I've left in the clicks in this part of the video and that kind of fuzzy audio for you to better get an understanding of how it sounds if you have a hitbox or a keyboard, what you're trying to do. So this is a bad attempt. This is me showing you the negatives. This is what you don't want to be sounding like. But you're trying to find out now, what does that wave dash sound like? So we're going back to the same principles just as I showed it for the normal pad controller, that you need to practice the fundamentals of the wave dash. And remember, combine those two together. That is also not how you do it, because of the case that that is how you would be putting that input out if it was just straight out. But remember, this thing is a combination of the two and the wave dash. So let's see how it actually sounds and it actually looks. Once again, that's not it, but this is it. So you see how that sounded so rhythmic? It sounds like a proper execution. That is how you do it on the keyboard. It's simply finding the time when you would be pressing your 2 and that together. And that's it once more again. So it's a case where practicing this will take a long time for you to master. I am a month in. I wouldn't consider myself a master, but I'm much more proficient at executing it than I was before. But that's all I'm gonna share for today's video. The electric wind hook fist is definitely something that you've got to keep practicing, keep hustling on every day in order to get ready for Tekken 8 and get better at Jin. But I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, stay gaming.